keeping Nnamdi Kanu in their detention is illegal, right? Malamu then appealed to the Supreme Court at the time and said they needed a stay of execution because they've lost all the lies, all of the media trial, all the propaganda, everything fell flat because they did not actually even have any chance of proving anything in court. Till tomorrow, they have nothing to prove in court that Nnamdi Kanu actually committed any crime.
Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you so much for stopping by. So my people, today being 13th of October 2024 is exactly 2 years the Appeal Court of Nigeria sitting in Abuja discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. And also today, Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja has accepted to continue handling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case because 2 days ago, the Chief Judge of Nigeria Federal High Court denies Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's recusal plea, returns case file to Justice Nyako. So this is the reason why today, according to the news, that Justice Binta Nyako has accepted to continue handling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case, which we don't know what is going to happen next, because we all know, just as Mayogu said, that these people know very well that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime. What is his crime? Just because he is, fighting for the freedom of his people. Before I allow you guys to listen to the rest of the video, what Mayogu said concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case, let me just read this breaking news. And it said, North must prepare for possible separation, says Prof. Luga. My people, North are now preparing to also separate, just as Sunday Igboho and the co have successfully submitted their formal request for Yoruba nation in UK. So Yoruba is trying to separate from Nigeria, as well as the North. They are warming up to separate as well. You guys know very well that Igbos are not interested in this country called Nigeria. So as you can see, every part or tribes in Nigeria are fed up of being Nigeria. So everyone wants to separate from Nigeria. So my people, that is it. That's exactly what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fighting for. He did not commit any crime. This is the reason why people are saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not have any case in Nigeria court. So let me allow you guys to listen and hear everything Mayogu said here concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. But before then, please, if today is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't, share the video, give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much for doing so, my people.
Remember when the last time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeared in court and his lawyers, they were acting so stupid, confused, trying to say, no, we can't stand trial. We can't, have any trial if this court is not going to obey the Supreme Court nonsense that that guy was spewing. Right. So Nnamdi Kanu had to stand up by himself, for himself in court and faced Muritala Nyako, the woman on the left. To the point that by the time Nnamdi Kanu finished defending himself in front of her, giving her the reasons why she is a compromised judge, that he will never get any fair hearing with her, then she recused herself. After that day, she excused herself. That's what that means. When you recuse yourself from a case, it simply means that you withdraw yourself and say, okay, I'm not going to handle it anymore. Take your case elsewhere. I won't do it. Now, there is this madman on the right. That is the chief judge of Nigeria's High Court. His name is Soho. After receiving the letter of the woman on the left, saying, I don't want to be part of Nnamdi Kanu's case anymore. Take it elsewhere because Nnamdi Kanu said he doesn't want me anymore. This man on the right looked at it and then sent it back to her and said, no, you continue with the case. Do you see what we're talking about? Yeah, I said, you know what? You are the one that we want to handle it. Continue just toying with it and playing with it. Don't worry about anything else, okay? Because what they want is a pronouncement, but there is something I want to show you. Let me search it and put it on my screen. Okay. In 2022, yeah, an appeal court in Nigeria, right, ruled that Nnamdi Kanu, right, that was in October. I don't know if you remember, but don't worry, I'll put it on the screen, okay, so that it won't be like I'm just saying it. Give me a sec, okay? An appeal court on the 13th of October, 2022, ruled that Nnamdi Kanu, right? Hang on, no, what's this? Yeah. Ruled that Nnamdi Kanu must be returned back to Kenya because his abduction was so illegal and it has rendered all legal standing of Nigeria illegal, irrelevant, because they kidnapped him. In that CEO, I'll read it to say, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Thursday upheld the appeal of the detained leader of the proscribed IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. The court also discharged and acquitted the embattled leader of the proscribed group. Kanu had, in his appeal dated April 29th that year, 2022, applied to be discharged and acquitted. Kanu was first arraigned on the December 23rd, 2015, and was later granted bail on the 25th of April, 2017. However, the Court of Appeal on Thursday declared as illegal and unlawful the abduction of Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria, and quashed the entire terrorism charges brought against him by the federal government. The appellate court held that the federal government breached all local and international laws in the forceful rendition of Kanu to Nigeria, thereby making the terrorism charges against him incompetent and unlawful. The appeal court, in a judgment by Justice Oludo Adebola, voided and set aside the charges by the federal government against Kanu. The appellate court proceeded to discharge Kanu from the alleged offenses. Justice Adebola held that failure of Nigeria to follow due process by way of extradition was fatal to the charges against Kanu. The appeal court further held that the failure of the federal government to disclose where and when the alleged offenses were committed was also fatal to the terrorism charges and made them liable to dismissal. So, reacting to the judgment, Kanu's lawyer and human rights activist Ifeanyi Ejiofor wrote, appeal allowed, Onyendu, Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu discharged and acquitted. We have won. Right. So what happened after that? I'm just reminding you so that some of you kind of love to listen to all of the propaganda that Nigeria continued to spew. And that is why we told you then that keeping Nnamdi Kanu in their detention is illegal. Right? Malamu then appealed to the Supreme Court at the time and said they needed a stay of execution because they've lost all the lies, all of the media trial, all the propaganda, everything fell flat because they did not actually even have any chance of proving anything in court. Till tomorrow, they have nothing to prove in court that Nnamdi Kanu actually committed any crime. But majority of all these things, a lot of you hated him. Majority of what you have all come from the propaganda you have been fed on social media. And maybe your hatred for the Igbos, by the way. There are Igbos who also hated Nnamdi Kanu simply because they couldn't believe that somebody like Nnamdi Kanu controls such massive following. They were jealous of him, right? And because of that, they wanted him killed. They support Nigeria. They believe that, in fact, they were actually saying, people who are following Nnamdi Kanu are illiterate, only for them to realize that they are the illiterate. The arrogant idiots, self-hating Igbos, who just wanted a man that they couldn't believe that both educated, uneducated, well-exposed, well-traveled businessmen, rich and also rich Igbos, actually listened to him. They couldn't believe it. that these people don't listen to their criminal politicians. They do not respect them per se. But that Nnamdi Kanu and his microphone, that Nnamdi Kanu and his social media platform is able to control the millions of people that respect him so much. They hated him for it. They wanted Nigeria to kill him, but they couldn't kill him. They couldn't jail him. They couldn't prove anything in their courts. In their desperation, they violated international laws. They kidnapped him from Kenya. And their court told them that's so wrong. If you really want to try him, you have to follow the process of extradition. You need to return Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya. And you have to pay him 1.5 billion naira in damages. Return him to Kenya. Then you can now go back to Kenya, okay, and begin the process of whatever accusation you have against him, you have to present it to the Kenya courts, okay, and apply for extradition. That is when you can bring him to Nigeria and then try him on the treason or whatever terrorism nonsense you want to charge him for. Not just use social media and begin to tell people on social media, IPOB is dangerous, IPOB is terrorist, IPOB, when we all know that the real terrorist here is the Nigerian government. They are wanted to, that has criminalized self-determination. So self-determination is not a crime anywhere in the world. If I say, okay, yeah, I am supporting Yoruba nation, let us break up. It is my right. That doesn't mean that I am committing any crime. What happened then is that if I have enough following, I can push for a referendum enough that you just have to give in. That's democracy. You don't criminalize it. So they did all of that on social media. When they now kidnapped him to Nigeria, they couldn't present any evidence that Nnamdi Kanu meant any harm or Nnamdi Kanu planned any terrorism in Nigeria. They couldn't present anything. They just wanted the court to kind of lock him up illegally. So Malamu went back to court. He went to court to say he will go to the Supreme Court. That if they release Nnamdi Kanu, it's going to bring shame to the government of Bukwari, and it is going to bring so and so to Nigeria. An embarrassment. You have already caused an embarrassment. You locked an innocent man up on trumped-up charges that you can't prove anything. You continue to feed your citizens with lies, propaganda. When that won't work, you resorted into recruiting terrorists in eastern Nigeria. Abi, you call them unknown gunmen, so that you can have something to justify why you are keeping Nnamdi Kanu. But even at that, you still can't stand in your own court, right, to present any evidence. No, you can't. So they went to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court then said, what happened is that the the Binta and Nyako court shouldn't have revoked his bail when it was obvious that while on bail, Nigerian army, they went to his house to kill him. He ran for his life. He would have been dead by now if he stayed back to let them kill him. They killed over 28 people in front of his house. All of these are just provocation by the Nigerian army. So that is not enough for the Muritala and Nyako to revoke his bail. That bail should be reinstated. The Supreme Court that should have upheld the appeal, Abi, decided that they should go and do the retrial. They now send him back to Nyako. The Nyako, Muritala, this Binta and Nyako, this mad woman here on the left, who justified keeping an innocent man in jail, right? Revoked his bail. They now sent Nnamdi Kanu back to her to go and retry. And Nnamdi Kanu said, no, I do not have any case in front of you. You can't try me. The Supreme Court says the reason why I should be here is probably since Supreme Court is so lily-livered, right? To kind of like approve what the appeal court already ruled on in 2022. So here I am, you, Mrs. Nyako, you have to reinstate my bail and let me go. Or I am not going to defend anything in front of your court anymore. I do not have any case here. And she said, if you don't put up your defense now, if you don't put up your defense, I am going to rule. Yoshi, rule. Because Nigeria is a lawless place. So that Soho, this madman on the right, is now the one who says, Nyako cannot leave the case. he must continue as the judge in this trial. And Nnamdi Kanu says, there's no trial. Can't you guys see it? There's no trial. There shouldn't be any trial. I do not have any case in front of you guys. But it is Nigeria. I told you that they are not keeping him because of they are keeping him all because they want to keep him as it's like keeping a trophy. You get that now? Yes, we got him. Yes, we kidnapped him. We committed the international crime just because we wanted to have this guy. So inside your own court, right? He defeated you inside your own court. He's the most dreaded person to them. So every time they take him to court, they said it cost them 500 million naira. Every day, every time you see Nnamdi Kanu in court, it costs Nigeria 500 million naira. Let him go. Pay him is 1.5 billion. Put him on the next available private jet and fly him straight to Kenya. And all this madness can end. But they won't do that. So that man on the right, who is the judge, and what they call him, the chief judge of the High Court, has insisted that Nnamdi Kanu should continue the case in front of Nyako. And so the injustice continues, unfortunately. We'll see what they say to that afterward.